You can use these for the kebabs I made. You can use them for the Greek gyros. Any sort of wraps really. You can use them to accompany curries, to mop up your sauce. But once you've made these things, they are a bit of a staple. Just wrap them up in tin foil, put them in the freezer. Then when you want to use them, put them in your microwave out of the tin foil, and just microwave for 40 seconds. Then they'll be soft enough. So they won't go crispy, they'll be soft enough. If you want them crispy, you can put them in the oven and you can bake them for 5 or 6 minutes until they get crispy, if that's what you want. But they are quite versatile, and again, you can't buy these, so they're fabulous. So I'll take you over and I'll show you what ingredients we've got. Okay, so we'll start with, I've got sourdough starter. So this starter, I fed this about 4 or 5 days ago. So it's got some life in it. It's not really bubbly, but it'll do for what I need today. So I'm going to use about 250 grams of this, and then I'll refresh my starter. And my starter will be up here again, up against the top. Stretch will be performing well. But if you haven't got that, you can just use yeast. Okay, so in the bowl at the back, I've got some flour. Now this flour's it's got semolina through it. I bought this for pizzas and pastas, but for the pizzas I want, they don't give us the crust or the cornichon I'm looking for. So I'm using these for my muffins. This flour for my muffins. I'm using them for these flatbreads, and they work great for that. But if you want to use all-purpose flour or bread flour, you're fine. Either or. So I've got just some normal tap water. I'm going to bring this up to 43 degrees Celsius, the same with the milk. So I've got some milk there. I've got some fennel seeds, and I've got some Mexican chipotle chilies. These are optional, but you do what you want, your way. Don't follow the crowd. So these work well together for me. They give you a nice little hit of aniseed every now and again. So, and once you mix this through and knead this through, it can sort of colour the dough as well. Once it starts to release its natural flavours in colours. So we've got some garlic. I'm not going to put all that in, but I'll put a good lump in, because remember, garlic makes you live forever. And some pink Himalayan salt. You can use sea salt. If you haven't got sea salt, use whatever salt you've got. Olive oil. This is olive oil which has been infused with garlic. You know the reason why. And I've got 2.5 teaspoons of sugar. So what we're going to do first is we're going to mix the wet ingredients with the flour. So we're going to put that on the machine. I'm going to use the paddle attachment. So if you don't know what that is, that's the paddle attachment. It looks like a leaf. So we'll use that until it comes together. It starts to come together. Then we'll switch to the door hook. If you don't know what that is, that's the door hook. And then we'll bring it together so we've got a nice smooth dough we can work with. Once we hit about 6 minutes, well, I'll add these first anyway, so I'll add these pretty much at the start once we add the wet ingredients. Then after 6 minutes, we'll add the oil and we'll add the salt. So the garlic will go in with the fennel and the chipotle, and the sugar will go in as well at the same time. So these two here are the bits we'll leave until sort of everything's come together properly. All right. So again, if you haven't got sourdough, don't worry. You can use 2 teaspoons of dried yeast for that to replace that. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put this all together. I'm going to put a bowl, give it a few folds, and then I'm just going to put it in the fridge overnight. So it's now 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock in the morning here. So I'm going to leave these till tomorrow. So I'm not in any hurry. But if you want to do it on the same day, 2 teaspoons of yeast, and then put them in an oiled bowl once you've got your nice dough, and then leave it to rise until doubled in size. It should take, if it's your summer or getting into summer, it should take you 2 to 2.5 hours to get to that point. If it's your winter, just put it in a warm place and then just trying to get it to double. Alright, so we'll start with the mixing, we'll move on to that now. Okay, let's rock and roll. So just give that a quick mix in first. And then we're going to start adding milk. Stir it in. Then followed by my water. Let that go for about 60 seconds. Then I'm going to add my garlic, sugar, and the spices, and the sourdough starter. I mean, for you guys, if you're using yeast, you should mix some yeast together with a little water, warm water, mix it through your finger, leave it for 5 minutes, just so it bubbles, and then that goes in. Okay, so that's at about a minute. Right, it's starting to come together already. So now I'm going to go in with my sourdough starter, which is very gloopy, if you can see it. You probably can't see it. I'll put 250 grams in there. Out of these breads, you should get about 6 breads anyway. Then spices in, sugar in, and a lovely lump of garlic in there. And you know why. So, we're just going to bring this all together now. The last 2 ingredients we've got is the oil and the salt, and that's going to be 6 minutes. So I'm going to bring this together for about 3 or 4 minutes first. Then I'm going to switch to the dough hook. Add the bits, like I say, about 6 minutes. We'll see what it looks like. I'll show you anyway. Okay, so that's had about 6 minutes. So you can see the consistency there now. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, we're going to switch it from the paddle to the dough hook, and then we'll start bringing it together with the dough hook till we get that bit window pane, which I've showed you in previous videos. So I'll show you again. So this is going to go probably another 10 minutes. I'll check it and then see how we get on. So in with the salt now, and in with the oil. That's it. So all the ingredients in now. So let's just crack on. Okay, so this has had about another 10 minutes. So remember the window pane thing I showed you? That's it. That's what we're looking for. That right there. Good gluten structure. Brilliant. So next bit, we're just going to turn this out on the bench, give it a few folds, and we'll go in the tub. We'll let it rise let it sit for a bit, and then I'll give it another couple of folds before I put it in the fridge. Okay, I'll take you over. Okay, let's get this out of the bench. I'll give it a couple of folds. Now you can see the colour already. I've added no colour to this, but you can see the colour's slightly like a caramelisy type of thing, and that's just the natural colours coming out of the chipotle chilies. to rub my hands a bit. Again, I'm just trapping little air bubbles. Don't have to be big bubbles because we're going to roll them out anyway. But the structure, when you sort of look at these things, when they're done, they've got like a fine, like an airy structure to them. So it makes the bread feel much lighter. And they are proper lush. Not just lush, proper lush. Best bread you'll ever taste. I knew I was going to say that. Right, just going to leave that for 5 minutes and we'll do another set. Okay, so my starter, just a little bit of advice on this one. So I've used what I've used in the recipe. I reduced this down to 4 ounces. So 4 ounces remain, and it was quite soupy with some little bubbles in there. I've added 8 ounces of flour, which is a bit of a mix of spelt, a bit of rye and some bread flour. And I've added 6.5 ounces of water. All I've done is stirred that with a spoon till it's brought together, so you can see what it's like now. I'm going to stick a little hat on them. It is a him, by the way, corn stretch. There you go. And then I'm going to leave him out, just underneath the kitchen window. I'm going to leave him there for at least 8 hours. What we should see is this should rise at least to the top, if it doesn't reach the top. Okay, and that should give us about 18 ounces of starter. Right, let's go back to folding this dough then. So, I'll just adjust this a little bit. I'll put a little bit of cling film on the top, just oil cling film because it is quite sticky. It shouldn't be as bad once I've done this fold. It smells amazing, mind. Put it on side for now. See if it picks up. Just bring it together a bit first. Your hands start feeling a bit tacky. Just put a bit of water through them. Because it will take the water. Okay, right, so it's had 3 folds. I've put it now in the tub. I'm just going to put the lid on, pop that in the fridge. Like I said before, if you're using, if you want to do it the same day, you're using yeast, 2 teaspoons of yeast. Let it double in size, about 2.5 hours, and then follow the next steps. So I'm going to pop this in the fridge at least overnight, so at least till tomorrow morning. And I'll do these tomorrow, possibly. What I might do on Friday, we'll see. But I'll post the video on Saturday to do the kebab wraps. And I'll maybe even do the spice for the gyros. The rest of the stuff is pretty much similar, so we'll see how we'll get on. Okay, see you soon. Hello again. Right, so I've left this for 24 hours. So it has doubled in size. See there's a bit of fermentation happening there. Okay, so I've split these up into 6. And I'm just going to roll them. Just a bit like the pizza stuff. So same sort of stuff, you'll see in the other videos, the same sort of process. Just so they're nice round balls. little bit more flour. And then we're just going to let them stand for about 20 minutes or so. And they've been out of the fridge about half an hour now. So it'll just warm them through a little bit. Look at that, man. That's beautiful. Do you not think? I do. The smell of these was lush this morning, with the fennel, the garlic, the chipotle, chilli through them. And opened the lid, it was like, oh my god. That's three. So it's fairly, you can do it fairly quickly. You've got the point anyway, you know what I'm doing. So next bit is, I'll fire up the pan shortly, and then we'll start cooking these off. See you shortly. Okay, so I've got my Indian chapati pan. I think it's pronounced tower pan. I think that's how it's pronounced. Correct us if I'm wrong. But I bought this from my local Asian shop about 10 years ago, and this has been my main pan to do these flatbreads and chapatis and so on. I tried it in my big cast iron pan last week, and it was just a pain in the backside to get in because of the high ridge around the pan. So these are definitely the right thing to use. If you're lucky enough to live in Newcastle Gateshead area, if you pop up to Fennel, there's a shop called Brighton Food Stores. You'll get one in there, and the guy who owns it is an absolute diamond as well. So please say hello if you do pop in. Otherwise, have a look at your local Asian shops before you go online. You'll probably pay at least double what you'll pay in the shop online. So it's definitely worth a trip. Plus you never know what else you're going to get whilst you're there. Roller wise, to roll these out, I also bought that from the Indian shop. And they're perfect for these breads. I've got a heavier one for pastries and stuff, but this is perfect. So you'll pick one up for a couple of quid from the shop as well. So that's all you need basically. If you haven't got these, you can use a frying pan. And if you just roll the breads up, I'll show you anyway, but you roll the breads up and then just roll them out into the pan before we're flipping them over after a minute or so. So we'll fire this up and then we'll see how we get on. Okay, so we're getting ready to rock and roll. So I'll roll the first couple out. A little bit of flour on the bench again. So we're just doing this while we're waiting for that pan and the temperature. So you want the pan maybe medium to high heat. And you can see what I mean by the roller. The roller is perfect for this stuff. These are very soft actually, so I'm going to put a bit more flour through them to be a bit easier to handle. Feels a bit better. If they're too soft, we'll just pull out the shape. So these are things from my freezer. So just drop them in the tin foil, pop in the freezer, and then, like I said earlier in the early video, 40 seconds in the microwave, full power, and they're ready to use. If you want them crispy, put them in. Worth having everything prepped, make sure you've got your tin foil prepped and everything else, so you're not rushing around having to do other stuff. I love the smell of the house after this. It smells like bacon, lush. Push a bit further, with a few more bubbles popping up. Let's check this, see how it's getting on. Lovely jubbly. There you go. So the smoke we can see is the bubbles that had expanded on the other side. It's starting to char in bubbles now, so hence the reason the smoke coming off. This probably needs another 30 seconds or so and then done. Then we'll move to the next ones. There you go. Look at that, man. You know you want some. Right, so I'll do the rest. So that's how you make the breads. I forgot to show you yesterday when I'd refreshed my starter. So you can see the line that came up the top of the jar, which was great. That's very lively now. Lots of bubbles in there. So I can use that the next few days. You can see it in the top. Nice and bubbly, beautiful. So that's been in the fridge overnight, so hence the reason why it's settled a bit. But that's what you're looking for anyway. Once you've refreshed the starter, you just want to see it be very lively. Okay, see you later.